Mr. Naval Gund.
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. It's the 4th of January, so may the 4th be with you, as they say in cyber world, you know. And cyber world is really where we're going to be focusing one of our first activities on in 2021, because if you're like my daughter over Christmas that had a glass of water by the side of her laptop, she has an Akulmach, wasn't cheap, and she did one thing she's never ever done before. She knocked the glass of water over her PC. You can just imagine the shock that came to her face when she saw the water go. She couldn't stop it. It's almost like slow motion. And all of a sudden, you hear as the electrics start to fuse and the screen slowly disappears. Just imagine that in slow motion, you know? It's like looking at the film 2012 all over again, looking in the mirror and seeing all the road disappear behind you, knowing that you actually, if you don't get out of the way, you're going to disappear with it. But when she told me it, and she is a writer, you know, she's an actor, so she gave me in full graphic detail. I haven't done it much justice, but the point is her whole world fell apart. And she, like many solopreneurs, you know, they're individual freelancers, like small businesses. All of a sudden, your world has just disappeared. Fortunately, everything she had was backed up in one place, apart from the work she was actually physically doing at the time. So she had a couple of hours work to recover. She had no PC to recover it on. And she's hoping that this being the first working day of the year, that she might get her Akulmach back. But if she doesn't, then it's a new purchase. So it's not just an investment, a new cost here. It's potentially she could have lost absolutely everything. And I know so many SMEs that live in that world of risk, and they trust that they're not going to make a mistake. But now you're going to tell me where the solution comes from, because everyone needs it.
Naval, we realize that this is a big requirement for the SMEs, startups, and also the solopreneurs, because the number of solopreneurs will grow as we proceed in the next decade. So I think all of us are affected. If this thing happens with your daughter, it is putting the business out for 10 to 15 days, because unless you recover your hard disk, put the data into new PC, you are out of business. So to prevent all this, we have actually brought Akulmach Cyber Cloud from 2021, specifically for corporates as well as for retail, which is the SMEs and startups and solopreneurs. And the advantage of having a cyber cloud, you can protect your devices. So because as we go forward, the data is the most important thing. It's not the device, it's not the hardware, it's the data, the work, which is most important. You can protect your devices, and you can also have an automatic backup on a cloud and restoration. So if something happens with your device, it doesn't matter, no sweat, you just click a button, and the data is restored like you were doing just an hour back, and you continue your business. So that is a kind of automation with cybersecurity we have brought to the world this year.
That's absolutely brilliant, because immediately I've been looking for something like this for some considerable time, because I have an iPhone, and I have, in the past dropped my iPhone, the screen's cracked, and the machine is completely dead. You couldn't recover anything from it on one particular occasion. These things happen. But the great thing was, I found out, this was about 3 years ago when it first happened to me. I found out that when I got my new iPhone, I just put my password in and it refreshed itself completely. Brand new machine, just completely refreshed itself. It took about, at the time, it took about 45, 50 minutes to reload everything, which is perfectly okay. I didn't have to do anything with it. It just gave me a few commands, you know, even to say, you've got a new device, the storage is a bit better. Do you want to store it here, there, or somewhere else? So it actually led me through a very simple reboot, So it was as though I just had the old machine, which was rebooting. And I was thinking at the time, why can't we have this on a PC? Every SME has this type of problem. Because if you could drop your PC, you could drop water on it, you could do anything with it. You could have a surge, power surge, and all of a sudden you realise, oops, I haven't actually put my PC, I haven't plugged my PC into a power surge unit. I plugged it into the wall, and I've actually got the power surge, and it's fried my battery. You know, and these things happen all the time. So I did think at the time, why can't we have something for a PC, for a laptop, for a tower, for an SME? What you're describing is we've now got it, which is brilliant news for everybody. Am I right in saying this?
Yes, it's slightly different than what you explained about the iPhone. Um, well, in iPhone, you need to configure your backup. So when you look at the data, it is not only your addresses, your contact details, but it has a lot of documents which usually people don't save on iPhone. At the same time, there are a lot of pictures and videos where people, in order to save the hard disk on the cloud, on the iCloud, don't back them up. So if you lose your mobile for whatever reason, your pictures of 3,000, 4,000 memories will be lost completely. So that is one side. The second side is if you have documents, your contracts, your presentations, your emails, because the emails will run in multi gigabytes of data, and that needs to be stored as a database. And then you don't want to spend time in restoring. You need to find an expert who will then take out the hard drive. And in many cases, in many countries, taking out the hard drive from especially the Mac devices is not even allowed. It's not legal. So you need to send your laptop, Mac laptops back to Apple, or your devices back to Apple. Then they will restore the data. So it's a very humongous task. It's not easy. But if you would just want to restore your contact details, it's easy. But restoring your business data is not easy. What we provide is it's a daily backup, like an enterprise class, like a bank will do. Our technology will back up your devices end of the day, middle of the day, or in the morning, whichever way you configure. And then something happens to your data, all you have to do is restore it. And the best thing is you can have a backup maintained, a daily backup maintained for 30 days or even 2 months. It is not only that, only yesterday data will be restored. You can restore the data from a particular date onwards. So that is a kind of intelligence we are bringing into the system. And specifically, when you secure your devices, then it is secure against malware, ransomware, and those latest attacks which are happening now. Somebody stealing your passwords, somebody's trying to get into your email servers and spoofing your email servers. So those kind of things are prevented completely using our cybersecurity solution.
Yeah, it sounds brilliant, and as you know, and other people that are listening will know, that I come from a corporate background anyway, and we always looked at ERP solutions and that security across the organisation. And if you're saying that this is the equivalent of a corporate solution, then quite frankly, if you're an SME listening in here, a solopreneur, a um, an independent individual, even a student, frankly, needs to back up their their records, because you'll be amazed at how many young people that I talk to that are at university and they say, I forgot to back up. And they've had to rewrite their whole thesis from scratch. You don't really want to be doing that in any day and age. And a lot of large organizations I know don't necessarily have that daily backup capability. Some do weekly backup, which means they rely on the individual in the organization to do the daily backup right the way through that week until there's a formal backup at the end of the week. And there's a reason for that, because backup actually means that people have got to be off the system typically, even in today's day and age. Um, Backups tend to be done when the organization is quiet. So there's a downtime. And we even see it when we're buying hosting for our websites. You know, if you're with GoDaddy or One to One or whatever other organization you're with, you've outsourced your hosting, there is downtime that's already there. And it says down for maintenance. So we live with it all the time. This is a great opportunity for anybody, because I'm going to ask you the simple question, because people are going to say, oh, this sounds expensive. But you and I have talked about what the entry point is. And it's like a monthly Netflix membership.
Absolutely, Neville. It is quite low cost. It is almost very similar to what you would pay to Dropbox or Google Drive subscription, or even iPhone iCloud subscription. So it is very similar to that. But in addition to what iClouds or Dropbox offers you, we offer cybersecurity. We offer your restoration. And you mentioned very interesting point about using the corporate clouds. But the corporate clouds function in a way which is similar to your Google Cloud, where if you're using Google Docs or some of these applications which are prescribed by the corporate, those are automatically backed up, and then the entire data is restored by some technology. Here we're talking about your individual files. So suppose you are using multiple things. You are using Google Docs and you are also using Word from Microsoft. Those are totally different protocols. So, and if you open a Google document on Word, it will not open correctly. So if you're using Google Doc, then they have their own protocol to save that file on a Google Drive. But if you have something on in the Word document and you have not backed that up, that is where the challenge is. So we actually don't look at different protocols. We just back up everything, whatever is there on your device, and with the click of a button, you can restore it. I think it's a very low cost. We charge something like $10 per device per month. So it is very similar to a Dropbox. Dropbox will give you only storage place. We give you cyber security, protection against ransomware, malware, and all kinds of viruses, and also restoration services whenever you need it.
It just sounds to me, I mean, we talk a lot in the Western world about having an insurance policy. It's disaster recovery. We all think it's never going to happen. Let me tell you, you will know at least one person it's happened to. Go and ask them how they recovered it, the heartache they went through. Just like my daughter, you know, it is a heartache. If you feel that you potentially have lost everything, you may have stored it somewhere, but even then, did you trust that storage? And these are the sort of questions you start to ask yourself. So it is an insurance policy. You hope you never have to use it, but when you do have to use it, and you find that actually you go down at 12 o'clock, you might have to buy a new PC if you've really screwed up your PC. If it's just gone fut, you know, and you just can't recover it. But by the time you bought the new PC, plugged in the lead, and then you've downloaded everything so you can start from scratch, you'll find out you're ready to go by 6 o'clock in the evening. That is one huge insurance policy for the price of almost like a Netflix subscription. I'm just going to say one thing I like about this is you and I can remember, I mean, your children aren't as old as mine, okay? But I can remember buying box sets for my kids, okay? And I'm not talking about DVDs, right? I'm talking about video cassettes. So we bought them box sets, typical Christmas or birthday present, so that they could, in their own time, go and watch these box sets over and over and over and over. As we know, videotape wears out. And if your child is so binged on a particular box set, like Friends, as all my kids were, you would see a very, very poor quality coming back after the 40, 50, 60th time of watching the same video. We progressed. We went into CDs and then DVDs, and we still had box sets. Today, in the last year, we've thrown out all those box sets because we've got something called Netflix. We know it's on demand, we know it's there all the time, and all I've got to do is type in what I want to see. What if Netflix went down? Disaster. But they are a corporate, they have the recovery mechanisms to make sure they don't go down. This product will make sure you don't go down. And it's as simple as that. And in the world where we live in cybersecurity, one of the other things that we constantly forget about is updating our cyberspace, the malware that comes through all the time. Someone sends you what looks like a nice birthday card on email, you click on it, and bingo, your whole PC is infested with an incredibly nasty Trojan virus. And then you've got to go and find the vaccine, load the vaccine. Typically, it doesn't work first time. They say, okay, try this variant, try this variant, try this variant. We all know what that is with COVID, okay? So this is a trial and error arena. What you've got here is all of the trial and error has been taken away because the vaccine is never needed because the vaccine is actually at the cloud. It's done for you. So this really is an insurance policy. And I can only suggest to people, come and talk to yourself because this is years of development, and get on board because it's really important for you to be secure going through the next year because you're going to be growing, aren't you?
Yes, Neville. In fact, the startup packages are very, very flexible. We have designed commercial packages for everyone, large corporate to even individual solopreneur. And if you are already on Google platform or Azure platform from Microsoft, it doesn't matter. We work with all. You can choose to store your data on your platform where you are actually paying subscription. Just use our technology, securing your devices, and we have the means to store the backups on your hard disk on the data store which you want. So I think the solution is very powerful. We have done a lot of thinking before launching it, and that is a new addition in Akulmach arsenal this year. Neville, we feel there are a lot of opportunities in this area.
Well, it's a big addition, CK. Congratulations for negotiating that contract. And for all you SMEs out there, don't put this off. Please don't put this off. I hear disaster case after disaster case on a regular basis. I forgot to back up. Oh, I dropped my PC. Oh, I left my PC on the train. I'm not too sure I'm going to get it back again. These things happen. It's a factor of life. And it's an insurance policy. You don't want things to happen. But just like you have car insurance, travel insurance, house contents insurance, personal insurance, this is an insurance policy. And when you need to use it, you know that actually you're going to be well reimbursed. Because believe you me, having had this happen to me a number of times in my career, there's weeks of anguish thinking about, have I recovered all my data? Did I get the latest element of the data back on the server? And over time, you're never going to know, frankly. But if you can sleep securely overnight, knowing you paid this monthly fee and actually you never really want to use it. And it's as simple
Absolutely.
as that. When you do, you realize the value.
Right, Naval. It saves people from the sleepless nights. So I think thank you very much for encouraging us and also endorsing us in a way. We will catch up with you tomorrow in some another interesting subject. But I think we will keep coming back to the cybersecurity because this decade it is going to be so important for solopreneurs, for corporates, and for everyone in life. So with that, I'd like to say thank you for finding time to talking to us, and we'll catch up again tomorrow.
Pleasure. Good luck, everybody. Be cyber secure. Look at what's on offer.
Bye bye.